Hello, everyone. Welcome to our new series on Islam and hard questions. In this series, we're going to be tackling some controversial questions in the context of Islam. Today, we're going to start off with the question of if science distances people from faith. This is a very common question in today's world where science is put on a high pedestal, and even in the academic setting, with the increase of atheism and this idea that you don't believe in God in the context of science. This is the topic we're going to be tackling today. First off, are most scientists atheists? Well, this question plagues many people in their minds, but actually, in a recent study, which shows, or a survey, it shows that scientists are far from being mostly atheists. For example, 33% of scientists believe in God, while only around 41% are atheists. And another Rice University study in 2015, which covered like countries like it says here, France, the US, Turkey, and India, found that theists are and atheists are practically 50-50. Like the distribution is almost identical. So one in two people, if you, like an academic person, like us, even like at your college or high school, any of the teachers that you come across, one and two of them might be an atheist or a theist. So this idea of atheism being dominant in that sphere, it's very trivial. It doesn't really hold any kind of intellectual value. So we're gonna continue on that. So let's go to our history. So in history, if we look back, especially before the 1900s and even 1800s, the idea of the acceptance of God was a norm. It was like this. It was like a normal thing, day to day. But now, because of the controversy, it's become like almost not normal. But let's take a quote from Isaac Newton himself, who said that this beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets can only proceed from the counsel of an intelligent and powerful being. He himself said this. Isaac Newton was a Christian Unitarian who believed in the unity of God, which is pretty close to the idea of God, Allah, in Islam. If we continue through Western academics or intellectuals, Albert Einstein himself said, "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind." So he's trying to point to the fact that both work in hand, and to have this kind of divide is, like I've mentioned before, trivial. It doesn't add anything up. And also Galileo, who said the mathematics is the language with which God has written the universe. If we take examples throughout Enlightenment, Renaissance, scientists, we're going to come across the fact that they were believers. But even if we look back in our Islamic tradition, belief in God and science, I mean, we believe that the universe is Allah's book. He laid it out. All we have to do is read through it. And if we look back at like famous scientists whose books are still used today, for example, Ibn Sina with his famous book on medicine. It's still used today in many, for example, in MIT, or like Al-Farabi or Al-Razi. These people were polymaths. They believe science held more value than just saying God doesn't exist or being this naturalistic mindset. It's what we have to understand is belief in God and religion and science go hand in hand. This is the ultimate point what I'm trying to get to. But another question is intelligence enough for faith? Is intelligence enough for faith? In Islam, we don't hold this idea that you only have to have reasons to believe. No, we use reasons to help with our faith. Faith comes from the heart. And it's this knowledge that helps us attain that faith. So we read through, we look at the intelligent design, we look at science, we look at how our creator made these things, and it increases our faith. So it's more than just logic. I mean, yeah, we have faith that tomorrow is going to happen. We have faith that the sun is going to be there in the morning. Faith is a normal human thing. Even people have faith in science, which doesn't really make sense because science is an ever-changing thing, and having faith in something that changes, it doesn't make as much sense as believing in a creator, an absolute being who's given us laws and order and who's given us a way of life. All we have to do is believe, and we put in these everyday activities, praying, fasting, and being with our families, and it gives a structure, it gives us value, and science only accelerates it. It's a tool. I mean, science has always been a tool, as we've seen through the quotes of the scientists themselves, who we hold a lot of weight to. And like I've mentioned, faith is not just knowledge. For example, says your faith is a subjective experience. It's like love or pain. You can't measure it. I mean, in today's world, we believe we can measure everything, even from like the smallest atom to, let's say, how much we weigh, or like people try to measure like mental capacity. I mean, there's like psychiatric measurements to try to understand your mental health issue. I mean, can you think about that? I mean, how can you measure someone's feelings? It's this like, it's almost like OCD, where in today's world where we only use science to explain everything. Science has limits too. We can't have this ultimate faith in it. That's why faith, yes, it's subjective, but it doesn't negate its objectivity when we have reason. Like I've said, reason and faith go hand in hand. Science and religion go hand in hand. Another big question is God just a gap filler? This is a common polemic meaning like a controversial question that people bring up, especially atheists or dogmatic militant atheists, where they say that it says here is invoking God for science hasn't yet explained just a God of the gaps. So what is science explains everything in the future? I mean, yes, but you're also putting your faith in science, so it becomes this like double-edged sword. Like you're not really clarifying what you're trying to say. But here's the thing: God is not the God of the gaps. His existence is supported not only by our ignorance, but also by what we do know. So we do know through things like signs, or things like the Quran. I mean, that's like the biggest evidence that we have of Allah, of our religion. And Allah sets the ground for these arguments. I mean, He says, bring out anything like it, which no one in history has or come close to. And like, if we just observe and understand and put our faith into this, then we understand that if we use that mindset, everything's mindset. If we use that mindset, then we start to realize the truth. That's why when we observe the universe and we use science, it leads us to that. Let's move on. So the beginning of the universe. Even if we understood everything in the universe, like every planet, every atom, where did the universe itself come from? This is a question that has plagued the minds for centuries of people, philosophers, scientists. Only recently, through the Big Bang Theory, did we understand that the universe came from nothing, had a beginning. Before that, actually, not even like 100 years ago, people believed the universe was eternal. I mean, this again shows that science evolves, that there are paradigms within history that, like Newtonian physics, and then we came with theory of relativity, and now we have the idea of the Big Bang. I mean, this wasn't the norm. So how did it come out from nothing? And the easy answer is God. I mean, people might say this is, you just got the gaps, but look at the evidence. Look past your biases. So if we accept the concept, I'm gonna do a little bit of jump here. The concept of infinite regress. So it means that it says here endless chain of causes. So if one thing caused another, then what caused that thing? And it keeps looping, it keeps going. And this is a logical fallacy that's been debunked. I'm not going to go into how it is here, but I'm just pointing to the evidence here of why we accept the belief that God is the ultimate causer of the universe, of everything, because of the fact that He's absolute, because of the fact that He is the eternal one. Not the universe like the scientists believed before, but He is, and He causes the finite. He affects like what we see around us. So let me end here with how science and faith work together. At the end of the day, science is powerful. We understand that. It's given us a lot of technological innovation. It has given us longer lives. It has given us many new blessings and tools. But it even gave us the atomic bomb. I mean, it even gave us biological weapons. It matters on how we use science and how we preserve that moral, that ethical boundaries with the idea of God. Once we strip ourselves from the fear of God, what leads us is to our hedonistic, our selfish, our own desires, which pollute like the truth. So what I'm trying to get at here is it matters on how you use something to attain what you want. So when it comes to science and faith, we believe that using science for good, and we believe that using science for ourselves in a positive manner can have a higher moral impact and can have a better impact than not believing in God. Sure, there have been advances through positivist ideals, but having that coexistence is beneficial for the long run. At the end, our faith is for the heart, for the soul, and science is for the mind. We use reasons to help us understand the world and to increase our faith in God. Let me end with a Quran verse here, which says, "We will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth."